Alright, how's it going, everybody? As I mentioned in my last video, I've kind of been toning down all the purchasing, scaling things back, kind of refocusing the collection, trying to decide on what I really want to keep, which means the most to me, as well as focusing in on getting some very big books that I've kind of been neglecting for a while as I've done a lot of this massive bulk purchasing. So today, I'm not going to have a haul video. We're going to go over my Amazing Spider-Man collection, because I had at least a couple people that had keep asking about it, and I know that you guys see all of my slabbed ones I have behind me every video, so instead of teasing, today we're going to go into it. I'm going to go, each one will be its own part, it'll be about a long box apiece, and since I have these four right here, those main four are pretty much everything I have so far. And again, it's not a complete run. I am trying to do 1 to 400 straight through, and I also have some of Volume 2, as well as just some variant covers of ones that they stuck out to me and I had to have them. So each long box, while not exact, is roughly about 100 a piece. The first one is a little shorter because that one obviously it's 100 and below, so it's a little harder to track those ones down right now. So I was gonna work backwards, but I figure everybody wants to see mostly the older books, so we might as well start with the lowest I have and work up. And except for key first appearances, which I have up behind me, the entire collection is raw. I try only ever to get slab books if they are a major key first appearance, or if it is just so iconic a cover that it's so expensive that I would rather get the grade and make sure it is that grade, and I try to have the nicest grade I can, because obviously if it's a cover buy, you want to be able to appreciate the cover and as much of the glory that it originally came out with. So I'm also, you guys are going to be a little tease here, I'm going to go through the boxes. I am not touching any of the slabs for a closer look yet. That will be the last video. So as you get each video in parts, it's going to be each long box at a time, and then we will end with one final video going over my slab key first appearances I have behind me. So with that said, let's get into it. Alright, so as mentioned before, we're going to start off with the lowest raw that I have and work through all the raws. So here we have Amazing Spider-Man number 7. This one, while it is complete, everything's intact, does have a fair amount of wear along the spine, as well as a giant crease going across the top, slight fading and tanning in the bottom, but overall, not a bad copy, given that it is Amazing Spider-Man issue 7. After that, this one came in a huge bulk purchase I got, so I actually got it for a decent price compared to what everything was. So this is also a little bit on that mid to lower grade side. Issue 11, classic Doc Ock. I think this is his second appearance. Awesome purple cover with a yellow spotlight. Like most people, I'm a big fan of spotlight covers. And as we actually start to work up, not high, but higher than these, it's going to be a little weird because for the most part, a lot of my below 100 will be nicer than some of my mid-200s that you'll see. Because when I was a kid, I would buy any issue I could find. I didn't care what the condition was. As I got older and I was able to afford some of these older ones, I started to pay more attention to that. So you'll see a weird thing where some of these below 100 will be drastically better condition than my mid-200s and up. But this is issue 18 right here. Awesome early Sandman cover. Again, it's got a little bit of spine wear, some schmutz at the top. Looks like it used to be some glue, but for a nice early Spidey that is complete and intact, great to have that. Alright, and then we have issue 22 with the Clown and Masters of Menace. This is an awesome, cool circus cover right here. Most of these that I have that are below, if they're not in a very fine condition, at this point on, I think, except for a few exceptions, are pretty much fine to very fine. Like, I got extremely lucky with a lot of these that I was buying for the price that I was buying them at. So I was happy to be able to add these in when I did, because it looks like some are back up on the climb compared to where they were. Alright, so here we have issue 24. Awesome, cool little Spidey going through some stuff right now. What's real, what's not real. Has an awesome 1965 date stamp on it. As I mentioned before, I am a big fan of date stamps, as long as they're not overly huge and obstructing the actual artwork. All right, here we have, and actually, let me see, there's just a touch of glare. It's not terrible, but it's a little better. All right, issue 25. This is one of my favorite early covers, just because I'm a big fan of that bold yellow. This one I do want to upgrade, just because I love the yellow so much, and this has a little tanning around the edges, that I want it to pop as much as it can. So this one I will be looking to upgrade. But it's always that toss-up between when things are down. Do I upgrade some of the copies I have, or do I focus on just getting the copies I don't have and deal with it later? All right, next up we have number 27, this awesome super dark Green Goblin cover. This one is actually, if it wasn't for, looks like a 6 cent written right there, and there's a little bit of ink up top on the Comics Code of Authority. Other than that, this is actually in pretty good, like a solid fine plus condition. That one is a really great book. That again, most of these, it was waiting and stocking on eBay and auctions for a lot of these ones. These were not in-person buys, because for how many I'm trying to get, it was more cost-effective to get them online. Issue 29, awesome Spidey and Scorpion cover underwater. A little bit of chipping around the edges, but nothing crazy. This one is actually an extremely awesome condition one. Again, I got very lucky with some of these right here. Try to readjust again, just so, again, all of these are in my Mylar, so they look amazing, but I'm always going to be fighting just that little bit of glare on some of these. But this is issue 30. Awesome, love that spotlight cover right there. This is another one that is probably in a very fine condition that I won in an auction for way below fair market value. Classic issue 33. Everybody knows this book. Everybody loves this book. I was happy to add this to the collection myself. This copy is as immaculate as I need for a copy. This thing is amazing. Love this book. All right, then we got issue 34. Awesome Craven cover right there. This one, it's a little tan, could be a little bit whiter, but still pretty awesome, the condition. I'm okay with slight tanning. I don't want my book overly dark, but as long as there's a little tanning, I care less about that. All right, then we have issue 35, Spidey versus the Molten Man. Again, because I have the long box right here next to me, and because of how much I care about these books, it's going to be a one book in, one book out, so sorry for that little delay in between. Issue 36, awesome little Spidey fight cover right here, When Falls the Meteor. Alright, and then we have first appearance of Norman Osborn with issue 37. Again, some light spine wear, but other than that, amazing condition on this book. This was another one I got in. I bought a massive lot, but I got lucky on a lot of these. Alright, if you guys saw some of my past haul videos, you might recognize that this is issue 40 that I got from MT Comics. He does auctions over at Strictly Comics on YouTube. This is, again, a very fine condition, that classic Spidey versus Green Goblin cover. This book is amazing. I can't thank him enough. That is a gorgeous copy. And I bought that because I have this one as well. This is a complete but barely held together issue 40. A lot of wear on it. This was my copy before that last one you guys saw, but I'm hanging on to it for now. I figure if I ever get a lot of duplicates that I upgrade, I'll just get rid of them all in one go. This is issue 43, awesome Spidey versus Rhino cover. This one is very low grade, but still together complete. That one I actually got for free at one of my local comic shops because I was buying so much that day. This book has a special place in my heart. This not only is issue 45 an amazing yellow cover, This is the first big purchase I ever had. When I was a little kid, probably elementary or middle school, I would take whatever money I could find. I had a paper route at that time, and I saw this up on the shelf at my comic shop. And I'm 30 right now, so even for me, that was some years ago. And this was, I think, $40 at the time, which, again, it's not crazy. It's not that much more than it now, but for the condition it's in, this book is now worth a lot more than that. And I just thought this was so cool that this was, for me, as a little kid looking at this book up on that shelf, I thought this was the coolest thing in the world, and I could not believe that I actually saved up and was able to buy it. I will never get rid of this specific book. Doesn't matter if a better one comes along, because that is my copy, and that is one of the first books that ever got me into comics. All right, then we have issue 49. Awesome Kraven Spidey Vulture cover right there, and I am just digging the blue on that. This is another one that is in just awesome, immaculate shape. This cover is gorgeous. I was going to say, and you guys will see also one of my favorite covers that's going to be coming up in the entire run. Now we have issue 53. Just a nice Spidey versus Doc Ock. And we're going to continue that with another Spidey Doc Ock, right back to back with issue 54. We got a poor Aunt May fainted on the cover right there. Then we have that classic Romita number 55, where Doc Ock's face just takes up the entire cover. Gorgeous book. This one, while it's already in pretty good shape, it does have a little dog-eared crease up top. So I would like, if the right one came along, I would upgrade it. I'm not actively seeking one. All right, and again, this was like nonstop Doc Ock in this era. So this is issue 56 right here. I think this is one where Spidey doesn't remember who he is, that he's a superhero. So Doc Ock convinces him that he's a villain, and they work together for just a bit. All right, then we have issue 57, Spider-Man and Kazar. This one I was really excited to get because right here where you have the price and the Spidey logo, the wrap on a lot of them wasn't lining up how I wanted it, and it was just kind of annoying my OCD, so it took me a while to track that one down. All right, then we have issue 58. This is another one that I would not be surprised if it was in the 8 to 9.0 range. This is an extremely solid book, especially for how dark that background border is. Really happy. This is where I really started getting in and tracking down a lot of the better condition ones that I could and kind of sniping in some auctions. Here we have the classic, I think this is the first Mary Jane cover appearance, issue 59. I love that light blue half the cover with the curtain, and she's out in the bright yellow stage living her best life while Spidey's taking care of business. Awesome first cover right there. And then some of my favorite covers in all of early Spider-Man are Kingpin covers. I love how massive they made him and how much he just takes up that page. So here you have issue 60, swinging Spider-Man like a rag doll right there. Lovely black background that just pops right off of that one. And we have issue 61, another awesome classic yellow cover right here. And again, this is a run that for longest time I was sniping left and right, and then it kind of felt like it was becoming more work than fun, so I've taken a break from filling these holes until I happen upon the right one, and then I'll start to fill it in. So now we have issue 62. Beautiful Medusa versus Spidey. Again, I love to see taking up the entire front cover. These ones are gorgeous to me. You just can't beat that artwork. All right, then we have issue 64. This is another one of the nicest ones I have. Again, would not be surprised if it is at least in the 9.0 range. This is also amazingly white for how old it is, which makes Vulture and Spider-Man pop off the cover even more. All right, and then we have one of my other better condition beauts right here with issue 65. Spider-Man running from jail right here, Escape Impossible. Really, really cool book. And again, it kind of plays with that dark on one half, light on the other half. All right, and then we have issue 67, one of the most famous. I mean, a lot of Mysterio's early covers are all bangers, but this classic Romita right here, I believe this is the first Robbie Robertson also, and it has a nice little date stamp in between the hands, which for me adds one more small little fun layer to it. All right, then we have issue 68, Crisis on Campus. Again, all of these covers, you can't look at them and just not smile. These things, every single one of them. But this book right here, in addition to this one, I'm very, very confident it is in the 9s. This is probably one of, if not my favorite pre-100 Spidey covers. I love how massive the Kingpin is. His giant hand, pretty much the size wrapping around Spidey's arm. The blue and red on Spidey also just popping. That little cigarette that Kingpin is holding in his hand, that just makes him look that much more massive. This book is incredible. Issue 69. It is, again, one of my... I love all the Kingpin early covers, but this is one of my favorite pre-100 Amazing Spider-Man books. A lot of people have their own. This is mine right here. This book is incredible. And that one, if that was his first appearance cover, is pretty amazing. But if that was it, it would take it over the top for me, having him that bold for his first appearance. But anyway, here we go. Back to another beautiful spotlight cover with Amazing Spider-Man 70. This, again, a lot of this era we're dipping in right now is when I really honed in on the condition for a little bit. So this book is amazing. Get it, Spider-Man? I love the background. Again, huge Spotlight fan. This one does it amazingly where it puts Spider-Man right at the center. All of these books just, I'm extremely fortunate to have in my collection. Then we have issue 71, Spider-Man versus Quicksilver. Awesome fight cover. All right, then we have a nice dark background with number 72, Spider-Man versus the Shocker. Again, this one has a few spine ticks along the spine, but other than that, really, really great shape for a black background cover. And this one, along with the Medusa one that we just saw, it's again one of my more mid-favorites, just because, once again, number 73, you have this massive Man Mountain Marco taking up the entire page, pretty much beating Spidey to a pulp right here. And I love the detail that he's grabbing his costume and it's actually coming up like a shirt. Sometimes it's drawn like it's skin, and you forget that it really is just a costume and that things are going to happen. But really, really love this book right there. That also is one of the standouts for me. All right, then we have issue 74 right here. This is when they were doing a lot with the tablets and the Fountain of Youth, I think it was, kind of stuff. And a lot of these, too, it wasn't until I went back and started reading them, because I grew up with the, I think, 90s animated cartoon Amazing Spider-Man. So it was amazing to me how much that show stuck to the comics, going back and reading these after. But here we have issue 76, Spidey versus the Lizard. Cool little perspective play on that one. There we go. Then we have issue 77. That battle's kind of continued, but now we're going to have in the Human Torch as well. There we go. Long box there. It's kind of adjusting the books so they don't fall on each other. All right. Then we have issue 79. I believe this is the second appearance of the Prowler. Yeah, pretty sure it is. Anybody, if I'm wrong, just correct me down below. But another awesome, cool cover. We got J. Jonah Jameson right there with the Prowler. Peter Parker dangling out of a window. This is another one that I'm proud to own just because of the condition I was able to get it in. Issue 80 with a chameleon. And I love that dark kind of jade green that this cover has to it. When you can get it in a little bit higher condition, it's just gorgeous how much that green comes out at you. So again, this book, awesome. And there's not a lot that dealt with that color scheme. So that book's a little extra cool for me. And this one, I like because of the blue and yellow. Here we have the coming of the kangaroo. And again, it's been a little bit, so I'm not positive, but I believe this is the first appearance of the kangaroo in issue 81. So awesome, him jumping over the cars in Spidey. The blue and yellow on the background and trade dress just work together and pop that much more beautifully. All right, then we have issue 82, Spider-Man versus Electro. I still need to track down his first appearance. So, and again, we'll go over pretty much all of these slabs I have for first appearances. You guys always see up on the wall behind me, so I'll pretty much just be going over them and getting a closer look, but there's still a good amount I do have to track down. All right, but getting back to it, we have issue 83, Spider-Man versus the Schemer. All right, then we have issue 84, another awesome battle cover between Spider-Man and Kingpin. This one is not as high up there for me as the other ones, just because it's a little busy. They don't stand out as much, but still an awesome battle cover. All right, then we're going to have that continued in issue 85, where you still got something with the Schemer and Kingpin going on. Spidey caught in the middle. All right, another one of my favorite ones for just, even though it's just a silhouette, I still love how it takes up the whole page. Here we have issue 86, Beware the Black Widow. Awesome book right there. All right, as I get to the end of this long box, it gets a little tighter, so there'll be a little gap in between books. I apologize. Here we have issue 87, Spider-Man Unmasked at Last. This is another one that anytime I saw this up on somebody's wall, it stands out to you every time for that big Spider-Man in the background. All right, then we have issue 88, Spider-Man versus Just the Living Tentacles, the arms of Dr. Octopus. All right, and then it looks like Doc Ock again with 89. He looks like had the most back-to-back stories in terms of being featured in the stories and on the covers. So there's no reason to see why he's one of Spidey's biggest villains now, along with Green Goblin and Venom. Also has a cool little date stamp right in the middle there. Ooh, easy there. All right, then we have issue 91. This one, again, really stands out, and I love it just because of the Spidey logo shining down on the wall behind him that he's on. Really cool cover. All right, let's see if these books will cooperate. There we go, make a little more room. All right, issue 92. We got Spidey versus the Iceman. This cover again, this is another one that's really fun for me. I love the colors. I love how everything's laid out. Really cool, awesome battle cover. And I always love, not more than villains, but pretty close to it, when you have heroes fighting heroes. It's just great. Now we have issue 93, the Prowler back at it again. And the Prowler is a character that, because of the Into the Spider-Verse movies, I now love and appreciate much, much more than I had. All right, issue 94. This book is another one that I honestly don't know what it is, but it is also one of my favorites. I don't know if it's the way the Beatles drawn, the layout, the colors, but something about this book just really speaks to me, and it is one of my favorites also. All right, then we have issue 95, Spidey Fights in London. Just an awesome book right there. And I think this long box, actually, because it's not full, it goes a little bit over 100. All right, then we have, right now, I think this is when we start the classic No Comics Code Authority up top, because we're in the unapproved drug issues. So this is issue 97 with Spidey versus Green Goblin. And again, all of these covers back-to-back are just bangers non-stop. Keeping up with the battle between the two, we have issue 98. Again, extremely fortunate to have these in my collection in the grade that I do. Then we have issue 99. You got Spidey in a prison riot going on right here. This is honestly one of my least favorite covers. I think just because of how muted and gray everything is. It just doesn't pop out to me that much. And then I think most people's, or at least one of their top favorites, I have number 100, And again, I was lucky enough to score this for an amazing price in an extremely high grade. This is a beautiful, gorgeous copy that no matter what, it will not do it justice on camera, especially with the phone I'm shooting on, but awesome, awesome, gorgeous book right there. I think, again, that's one of everybody's favorites, 100 or below, as that one just barely gets in there. All right, but now we're dipping a little bit over here. We have issue 102 with Morbius and the Lizard, and I love Six-Armed Spidey. It is one of the most fun times in the run that I just get a crack out of it every single time. I love that. It was the same with the animated series also, so those were some of my favorite episodes. So now we have issue 103. This was another one that took me a little bit to find one with the right spine wrap that I wanted. So while there's some slight tanning to the book or some dirtiness, overall the condition's very great, but I was really, really happy to find one with that wrap. It looks like it was weird. It's like there are some issues that are fine, some issues that for some reason the wrap was just nonstop a battle to find one that I liked. Issue 104, now we're into that picture, well, we've been in that picture frame, but now I'm just mentioning it. So the picture frame covers, this one really pops out with the black background, Kraven right there, victorious over Spidey and Kazar, so really, really awesome. All right, and then we have issue 105. Pretty cool Spidey Slayer cover right there. Then we have issue 106. Awesome kind of Spidey against the crowd, still keeping up with that purple background, picturesque cover. Then we have issue 107. Awesome green background, picturesque cover right there. And I say, for some reason, some of these ones in this era are not as up there for me. Issue 108. This one I do like, how that green and yellow smoke bounces off of that background. That one is quite nice. Then we have an awesome 109, Doctor Strange and Spidey right there working together. This is one of my top ones, especially for the picture frame cover. Then we have issue 110. I believe this is the first appearance of the Gibbon that we have here on the cover. Awesome book, Spidey being thrown off. All right, then we have issue 111, another awesome Kraven black picture frame cover right there. Again, these ones, those ones do get me. And overall, you didn't used to be a fan of the picture frame at all, but I've really, really come around. Especially with this one, issue 112. This is one of my favorites. This book is beautiful, beautiful. Highly recommend that to anybody interested in the Spider-Man overall. Then we have issue 113, which I believe is the first appearance of the villain Hammerhead. Awesome Romita cover. And speaking of, here is his first cover, issue 114. Hammerhead right there with his gang, still rocking that picture box frame. Issue 115, Spidey versus Aunt May. Doc Ock passed out on the ground right there. And the last one we're going to do for this video is issue 116, I believe the first appearance of the Smasher. Again, beautiful black background, picture frame, amazing book. But there we have, that'll be the first long box. All right, so there we have it, everybody. Long box 1 down. Again, those ones are some of the favorite ones I have. What beats that is probably going to be, I think it's between box 3 and 4, because as amazing as those are, the first ones I was able to buy and collect as a kid, the first comics I ever bought were the Todd McFarlane era in there and the Bagley covers. So those ones will hold a special place in my heart. You'll see as we get to those, I'll point out some of the ones that I got myself digging through bins. They were $1 a piece at the time, even back then. So as awesome as these ones are, I love these books. But a lot of those ones, when we get to those boxes 3 and 4, those ones you'll see a different level of excitement just because those are my Spider-Man books. But Thank you guys for checking out this video, and next time we will do part 2, and we'll dig into that next box. So thank you, as always. Until next time.